We're gonna talk about building sentences. So if you pull this page out, we're gonna do it together. And it looks like a lot, but there's really just a little bit of work. A complete thought or sentence. We've talked about this quite a bit at school, and we will be talking about it a lot more to come. A complete thought or sentence contains a subject and a predicate. So it's usually a noun and a verb. That means you can identify a who, what, and what about it. So they said, the example is the softball team won the game. So the subject is the softball team, and what they did was they won the game. Sometimes sentences contain compound subjects or predicates, so that means more than one. Compound means more than one. That means there are two subjects or predicates. Remember, the predicate is the verb, like in the example below. The pack of dogs and the garbage men chasing them ran around the corner and went into the parking lot. So there are two subjects doing two things. There's a pack of dogs and there's garbage men who are chasing them. And they ran around the corner and then they went into the parking lot. So in the sentences below, we're going to circle, we're going to do this together, circle the subject and the predicate in each example below. So we're going to look for the main character, and then we're going to underline what they're doing. So the first sentence says, Julio and I went down to the schoolyard. So who are we talking about? You're going to circle Julio and I. And then what did we do? Went down to the schoolyard. So you're going to underline, went down to the schoolyard. Circle Julio and I, underline, went down to the schoolyard. The second sentence says, she got a ticket to ride the roller coaster and then bought a slushie. So what is the subject of that sentence? The main character is she. So you're going to circle she. And then everything else is going to be underlined. Got a ticket to ride the roller coaster and then bought a slushie. You don't have to underline and then. That's the conjunction, joining the two together. But if you do, I wouldn't count that wrong. So you're circling she, underlining the rest of that sentence. And I will hold up the answer key when I go through these so that you can check your answers. Number 3, my new shoes and socks got dirty. So what are we talking about? My new shoes and socks is what you're going to circle. And what happened to them? They got dirty. So you're going to underline that part of this sentence. And then number 4, my gum popped out of my mouth and fell on the floor. So what is the main subject of that sentence? It's my gum. So you're going to circle my gum. And then you're going to underline the rest. Popped out of my mouth and fell on the floor. So underline. Popped out of my mouth, fell on the floor. And the last one says, my sister went to the movies and then joined her friends. So who are we talking about? My sister. You're going to circle my sister and then underline went to the movies and then joined her friends. I'll hold it up and you can see they did not underline the conjunction and then, and then. But if you did, like I said, that's fine. Because we're mainly splitting the sentence into 2 parts. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom part together. Now you're going to create a complete sentence. Complete sentences that have. So you're going to write a sentence with one subject and one predicate. So you're going to have one character doing one thing. So go ahead and write your sentence. And then I will give you an example that they had. So their sentence is, I went to the zoo. I went to the zoo. Don't use that one because that's the example one. You just have one person doing one thing. So it could be yourself, could be your mom, could be your dog. Athena barked. That would be a sentence right there. Then the second one, you're going to do one subject and two predicates. So you're going to have one person doing two things. So the example that you're not going to use is I went to the zoo and then out to dinner. I went to the zoo and then out to dinner. I could say Athena barked and jumped. So she'd be doing two things. So think of one subject doing two things. You can use the original sentence you used and then just add to it. Now you're going to have two subjects and one predicate. So they have two people doing one thing. Jim and I went to the zoo. So I could say Athena and Oreo ran around the house. Two characters doing one thing. And then the last example is having two subjects do two things, two predicates. Jim and I went to the zoo and then out to dinner. So they're using their original sentence and just building on it. I could say Athena and Oreo chased each other around the house and begged for treats. So go ahead and email me the answers that you put, so you can get credit for doing this one, or you can take a picture of the page. Either way, and I hope you have a great day.